Shadows of Anxiety, The Art of Lucilla. Davenport. Chapter 1, The Canvas of Chaos. Lucilla Davenport stood before her easel, the canvas blank yet brimming with potential. Outside, the city buzzed with life, but inside her cramped studio, silence reigned, punctuated only by the soft rustle of paint tubes and the rhythmic tapping of her brush against the palette. It was here, in this sanctuary of solitude, that she fought her most daunting battles. Anxiety wrapped around her like a heavy fog, clouding her thoughts and stifling her creativity. Each day felt like climbing a mountain, the summit always just out of reach. She often wondered if anyone could truly understand the weight of her struggle, how it felt to be adrift in a sea of expectations, both self-imposed and societal. As she dipped her brush into a deep indigo, she thought of the lyrics that echoed in her mind, "God bless the child that's got his own." Wealth, she mused, was not merely found in possessions, but in the ability to create, to express oneself. But today, even that seemed elusive. Chapter 2, The Inciting Incident. After a particularly restless night, Lucilla decided to seek help. The therapist's office was a stark contrast to her chaotic mind, calm, organized, and inviting. Dr. Hayes, a warm woman with kind eyes, welcomed her with an understanding smile. "I want to help you find your voice, Dr." Hayes said, gesturing for Lucilla to sit. "Tell me about your art." Lucilla hesitated, her heart racing. "It's complicated. Some days, I feel like I can't create anything at all. Other days, I pour everything into it." "Let's explore that," Dr. Hayes encouraged. "What do you feel when you paint?" "I feel alive, but also terrified. Like I'm exposing a part of myself that should remain hidden." Dr. Hayes nodded, her expression thoughtful. "Art can be a powerful way to confront our fears. Let's work on that together." Chapter 3, Building Connections. As the weeks passed, Lucilla began to unravel the threads of her anxiety. Therapy sessions became a lifeline, and she started to open up about her childhood, about the emotional neglect that had shaped her perception of self-worth. In a support group for artists, she met others who shared their struggles. There was Eliana, a sculptor who spoke of her battle with depression, and Marco, a photographer haunted by self-doubt. Together, they formed a bond, a tapestry of shared experiences that began to stitch together the frayed edges of Lucilla's heart. One evening, they gathered at a local cafe, laughter mingling with the aroma of coffee. Lucilla felt a warmth she hadn't known in years, a sense of belonging. "Your art is powerful, Lucilla," Marco said, his eyes bright with sincerity. "You have a gift. Don't let fear steal it from you." His words lingered in her mind, igniting a spark of hope. Chapter 4, The Exhibition. With newfound courage, Lucilla poured her emotions into her art, creating a series of paintings that reflected her journey through anxiety. Each piece was a raw, unfiltered expression of her struggles, dark swirls of color representing despair, contrasted with vibrant strokes of hope. When the day of her exhibition arrived, her heart raced with anticipation and dread. The gallery buzzed with energy, art enthusiasts mingling amid the canvases that spoke of vulnerability and strength. As she stood by her work, a woman approached, tears glistening in her eyes. "Your art resonates with me. It's like you've captured my own battles." Lucilla's heart swelled. For the first time, she realized that her pain could connect her to others, that her story was worth sharing. Chapter 5, The Climax. Just as Lucilla began to embrace her progress, a personal crisis struck. A family emergency forced her to confront unresolved feelings of abandonment. Old fears clawed at her, threatening to drag her back into the shadows. In a moment of despair, she stood before her easel, brush poised but unmoving. "I can't do this," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. But then, she remembered the warmth of her friend's support, the strength she had found in vulnerability. With trembling hands, she began to paint, pouring her pain onto the canvas. Each stroke was a catharsis, a release of pent-up emotions. She painted through the night, creating a piece that encapsulated her journey, a vibrant tapestry of darkness and light. Chapter 6, Resolution. The next day, Lucilla stood before her finished piece, a masterpiece that reflected her evolution. It was a celebration of her resilience, a testament to the battles she had fought and the strength she had discovered. In therapy, she shared her creation with Dr. Hayes. "This is me," she said, her voice steady. "I've learned that it's okay to be vulnerable. I can embrace my struggles and still create beauty." Dr. Hayes smiled, pride shining in her eyes. "You've come a long way, Lucilla. Your journey is inspiring." As Lucilla prepared for another exhibition, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. The shadows of anxiety still lingered, but she knew they no longer defined her. With her heart open and her spirit resilient, she stepped into the light, ready to share her art and her story with the world. In that moment, she understood the true meaning of wealth, the richness of self-acceptance, the power of connection, and the beauty of embracing one's own journey.